accepted the title like an award. After hiking another hour, they reached a beautiful waterfall surrounded by flowers, giant rocks, and crystal-clear water. Michael announced it was lunchtime, and Jake excitedly opened the backpack expecting something delicious. The moment Jake discovered tuna sandwiches inside, he looked heartbroken and sadly asked his father if he still loved him. Michael laughed loudly while Jake dramatically called the sandwiches tuna sadness. Suddenly Jake noticed movement near the rocks and warned his father not to move because a tiny criminal was nearby. A raccoon quickly grabbed one of Michael's sandwiches and ran away before anyone could stop it. Jake laughed harder than ever and declared that the universe had sent justice for the terrible tuna sandwiches. Michael could not stop laughing while Jake proudly explained that karma worked fast in the mountains. As they rested near the waterfall, Jake dipped his hands into the cold water and slowly began enjoying the peaceful beauty around him. For the first time all day, Jake completely forgot about video games, phones, and Wi-Fi. Michael noticed his son smiling quietly and asked if he was finally having fun. Jake admitted he might actually be enjoying the adventure a little bit. Just then, dark gray clouds slowly covered the sky above the mountains. Thunder rumbled loudly in the distance while cold wind moved through the trees. Jake looked up nervously and admitted the weather suddenly looked very scary. Rain began falling lightly before turning into a heavy storm within seconds. Lightning flashed across the sky while Jake slipped in the mud and complained that nature officially hated him. Michael grabbed the backpacks quickly and shouted that they needed shelter immediately. As they hurried through the storm, rain soaked their clothes completely while thunder shook the mountains around them. Jake looked miserable and sadly admitted he missed his couch more than ever before. Suddenly Michael spotted a small wooden cabin hidden between the trees with smoke rising from the chimney. Jake's eyes widened with excitement because the cabin looked like something from an adventure movie. They rushed through the rain and knocked loudly on the cabin door. An old woman wearing giant glasses and a bright yellow raincoat opened the door and smiled warmly at them. She laughed cheerfully and told them they looked like two wet potatoes standing in the rain. Jake instantly liked the funny old woman while Michael politely introduced them. The woman invited them inside her warm cabin, which smelled like soup, bread, and firewood. Jake's stomach growled so loudly that even the old woman laughed. The woman introduced herself as Mrs. Wilson and quickly served them hot homemade soup. Jake took one bite and his eyes widened in surprise because it tasted far better than the tuna sandwiches. Jake pointed at his father and announced that this was what real food looked like. Michael laughed while Mrs. Wilson proudly explained it was an old family recipe. Outside, thunder continued shaking the mountains while rain crashed loudly against the windows. Jake became nervous during the storm, but Mrs. Wilson calmly told him storms never lasted forever. While drinking soup beside the fireplace, Jake asked Mrs. Wilson if she believed life really worked like an echo. Mrs. Wilson smiled warmly and explained that kindness always grows when people choose to share it with others. She told Jake that her grandmother once taught her that whatever people plant in life eventually grows back to them. Jake listened carefully and slowly remembered everything his father had explained earlier on the mountain. After a while, the storm finally began calming down, and golden sunset light slowly appeared through the windows. Michael thanked Mrs. Wilson for helping them while Jake thanked her for rescuing him from tuna sandwiches. Mrs. Wilson laughed loudly before handing Jake a small compass as a gift for future adventures. Jake looked shocked and asked if she was really giving the compass to him. Mrs. Wilson nodded kindly and told him the best direction in life was always kindness. Jake carefully placed the compass into his pocket and promised to treasure it forever. As they walked back through the fresh mountain air after the storm, everything around them looked peaceful and clean. Jake suddenly turned toward the mountains and shouted loudly, "Thank you." The mountains answered warmly, "Thank you." This time, the echo no longer sounded scary to Jake because he finally understood its meaning. During the drive home, Jake stayed unusually quiet while thinking deeply about everything he had learned that day. He finally looked at his father and admitted that life really was like an echo because people often received back the same energy they gave others. Michael smiled proudly while Jake jokingly added that he still wished mountains could deliver pizza. Over the next few weeks, Jake slowly became kinder to people at school, more patient with his little sister, and more helpful to his friends. From that day forward, Jake never forgot the lesson of the mountain echo because he understood that life gives back whatever we choose to give to the world. Moral of the story: life is like an echo. Whatever we say, do, and give to others comes back to us. If we spread kindness, love, respect, honesty, and positivity, we will receive the same in return. Our actions and words create the kind of world we live in.